Welcome back to the channel. I'm Lana and today I'm going to be talking about our Airbnb. It's been a year since we opened our Airbnb and I want to look back on the good, the bad, the ugly, the numbers. Was it worth it? All that stuff. If you have ever wondered what it's like to really run an Airbnb and you're wondering if it's worth the investment and the time, I'm going to share with you all the details. If this is your first time on my channel, welcome. So glad you're here. I make videos trying to simplify money and home to empower you to take charge of your financial life. If that sounds like content you need in your life, please hit that subscribe button. So I have a whole playlist dedicated to the Airbnb. So if you want to know more in depth about the pros and the cons, the startup costs, and what it took to get this Airbnb up and running, go ahead and check out that playlist so that you are all up to date. But if you don't have hours to watch other YouTube videos, I'm going to give you the quick catch-up version. So approximately a year and a half ago, we purchased a house with the intention of opening an Airbnb in part of the house. So we turned the fourth bedroom and the second bathroom into an Airbnb suite that can only be accessed from the outside. So we had to close up a door to make that work. And we have been running an Airbnb out of that space for a little over a year now. So it was really fun to collect all the data that I needed for this video and to actually look at it for myself also. But let's talk about the year in review. So I just looked at September of 2020 through August of 2021. So that's the time period that I'm looking at so I could see an entire year and what it was like. We have had approximately 15 guests per month. So that means there's 15 different groups of people coming in and out of our space. We have had about 4 unpleasant experiences. And when I think back, that doesn't sound so bad. If we've had 15 guests a month and we've only had 4 really negative experiences, I'd say that's actually better than I thought it was. The majority of the time we have left our calendar open for guests to book, but we did take 2 weeks off right at the time of my due date when I was due with our second son. So all these earnings reflect that also, that we did take some time off. Other than that, we didn't really block out many days except some random days when it wasn't going to work for us to clean or something like that, but nothing else that was significant. Overall, we have not had very many empty days. If there were empty days, it was definitely during the week. Basically, every single weekend for the past year has been booked. The few days that have been empty have definitely been during the week. My husband took on most of the communications for the Airbnb. This means that he has been contacting the guests right after they book, and he also answers all their questions. This also means that when something is going not exactly right, or our guests have forgotten they're supposed to check out that day and they need to be reminded, I am punting that to my husband and having him do that, which has been wonderful for me. I have been doing most of the weekday cleanings. We kind of tag team on weekends. The other thing that we've definitely been doing this year is ordering stuff to make our life easier. So we only had one comforter before, and if it was dirty, we were in trouble and we had to wash it right then to even make it work for the next guest that was coming in 4 hours. And that definitely made me nervous, so we bought another quilt. So there's definitely been some investment in the ease of operation. Overall, I would say running the Airbnb has not been too overwhelming, as we have kind of divvied up the tasks. We have streamlined the cleaning procedures, and we are making sure we have all the supplies that we need to make it as easy as possible. Okay, let's talk numbers. I know this is the part that everybody wants to know the nitty-gritty about. So for the year that I am looking at, the Airbnb made $15,175. So this is all the money that Airbnb sent us before any deductions that we made or expenses. As far as expenses, in total we spent $1,872. This includes things like laundry soap, the extra set of sheets that I bought, the little end tables that we ended up buying, the coffee pods, the toilet paper, the toilet cleaner, things like that. So I am hoping that our next entire calendar year, our expenses will be lower because we already have the extra quilt and the extra set of sheets and stuff like that. These expenses do not include things like a percentage of our power bill, the percentage of our mortgage, the percentage of the trash. We had to get a bigger trash can. It also doesn't include the startup costs that it took us to renovate the space and originally put the furniture in there and the mattress and the couch and such. This also doesn't include the fact that we purchased a new house with the intention of putting an Airbnb in it. We have also been saving for our taxes. So we saved $1,517 for taxes. We save a flat 10% of the Airbnb income for taxes, and I'm not sure that that's going to cut it, but we have something saved, which is better than nothing. And since we are filing all our taxes together, which includes my studio income and my husband's W-2 job and all these other things, sometimes it all evens out and saving 10% of the extra income is enough, but I guess we will find out at tax time. So after accounting for the expenses and saving for taxes, our net profit from the Airbnb was $11,786. This works out to $982 per month. This was not as high as I was thinking because that's an average over the whole year, and some months were awesome and we made $1,900, and some months were less, like August when we took 2 weeks off and it was $680 or something. Because of the varyingness of that, it only averaged out to about $1,000 a month of net income. So based off the calculation that there's about 15 guests per month, and each cleaning takes approximately an hour, that means that there was approximately 180 hours of cleaning work that was done during this year. And I'm always curious, what does this make our per hourly rate come out to? How much money per hour are we making when we are cleaning the Airbnb? And of course, this doesn't account for so many different things and doesn't account for the random communication, or that sometimes cleaning took longer or sometimes it took less time. But if you do a simple calculation, this means that we're making $65 an hour. And that's pretty sweet. So the big question you and I both probably have is it worth it? So I always feel really clever when I can make a video about how we live in this house for free, because this month the Airbnb paid our mortgage, but that's not always true. And when I average it all over the year, it's about $1,000, and that does not cover our mortgage because our mortgage is about $1,680 a month. But this does mean that we are lowering our housing costs for real by about $1,000 a month. And housing costs can really eat up your budget because it's one of the biggest line items. I totally wish the numbers were a little bit prettier and we were making a little bit more money from the Airbnb on average, but that just is not the case. But at the same time, it's as though we get to live in this house for about $700 a month, and we get 1 bathroom, 3 bedrooms, half an acre of property, a garage, for $700 a month. And I don't know where in the country you live, but for $700, you totally cannot even close to rent something like that. I think in our town, for $700, you could rent a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment in a complex. So although the Airbnb totally does not remove our housing costs, it greatly decreases our housing costs. So this extra money that we are getting from our Airbnb gives us a great opportunity to save more money and invest more money. If we can keep ourselves from spending our excess cash, it really allows us to get $1,000 closer to our goal every single month, and that is a huge deal. The Airbnb does take quite a bit of work and planning. It took planning to figure out how to buy this house, how to renovate it, how to buy all the stuff, how to set up an Airbnb, and all the coordinating with the guests that is happening continually, and the buying of supplies. And the other thing is that there's coordination when we want to leave. So if we're going on a trip, we have to arrange for someone to clean the Airbnb. The other thing that I really think is important about the Airbnb is that we get to serve our guests. Of course, every guest is important, but we have gotten to serve some traveling nurses, people finding a safe place to sleep halfway between their destinations so they don't burn out from driving too far, people that have been caught in bad weather when the roads have been impassable and dangerous that needed a place to stay. So that has been really cool to be able to serve people and fill a need for them, and the Airbnb also does that. It's not all about the numbers, and that has definitely been a cool aspect of owning an Airbnb. Well, what do you think? Does having an Airbnb sound worth it to you? Also, what surprised you about this video? Let me know down in the comments. As always, do me a big favor, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future uploads. Can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye for now.